Go do gravity real fast because that's still pretty easy to do. So we're going to go to our blob class and then we're going to look at our step method. So before we call super.step, we're going to call super.gravity. And that's just pretty simple. That's all we have to do to add our gravity. And as you can tell, he falls back down. So our gravity is working, he still collides with objects correctly, so everything's good. So now what you might want to do is make it so you can't just hold down the key and go as high as you can go, as high as you want. So to stop that from happening, we're pretty much going to get rid of the down key, because in the real world you can't force your body to go downwards unless you're making a game where you can. And then we're also going to look at this up key, and this is when it gets a little bit different. So we want it to be so you can only jump once every time you press the key. If we put it under key pressed, then they can hold it down as long as they want, and since the key's pressed, the up key will always be on. So we don't want it to be under key pressed at all. We want to go down to key released, because then you have to release the key for it to be called. And we're still going to get rid of the down key. That's useless. But whenever you release the up key, we're going to call a method called jump. Now this is a method that doesn't exist. So we're just going to hover over it and we're going to create a new one. And, well, I deleted a lot more than I wanted to. And so, it's not going to be too bad. First, I want to define a speed. I'm going to say private double jump speed. And actually, we're going to make this final too, because we're not going to change this. We just want to set it once and be done with it. And I'm going to go ahead and set it to 10. Sorry, final goes before the double. I do stuff like this all the time. There's a reason why I use Eclipse. So then we're going to go back to our jump method, and we're going to say dy equals negative jump speed. And then this way, I press it once, I jump, and 10's probably a little bit too much, and I go down. If I hold the button, I don't jump until I release it. So that's pretty good, but I can still jump afterwards. I can keep jumping, I just have to keep pressing the button. And I know it doesn't really look like I'm moving, but I am. So what we want to do to fix that is we're going to add another, we're going to say private, not final, private integer, jump num. And this is going to represent the number of times that the number of jumps we have reached. And then we're going to say if jump num is less than 2. Let's do less than equal to. So that means you can jump twice. But any more than that, and you can't jump anymore. So we'll test real quick. Sorry, we're not actually adding anything to jump num. So let's fix that real quick. We have to say increment jump num. So after I do it twice, I can't jump anymore. And even when I hit the ground, I've already jumped twice. so I still can't jump. So what we need to do is reset jump num to 0 once he's hit the ground. Now this can be kind of tricky, but what I've found is you should do it this way. You should say if dy equals 0, then jump num equals 0. And let's make sure that works, because if you don't put this in the right position, it won't work. So I just did my double jump. Well, now I have. So I'm going to hit the ground, and I still can't jump. So that means we've put it in the wrong spot. What's happening is the collision with my block. Well, it's complicated. What we're going to do is we're going to move this if statement up to before gravity, I think. So 1, 2, I actually do get a third jump out of that. Yeah, I know why. It's supposed to be less 2, not less than equal to. Okay, so now my jump comes back, and we're going to go back and we're going to change our jump method. Alright, so we're going to change my jump method to less than 2. And then we're going to change my speed to something not as high. So that looks good. Should have a pretty good jump now. You know, maybe the animation should stop when he's in the air. You know, instead of making it look like he's walking, maybe we should make it look like he's, you know, jumping. I don't know what that looks like for a blob, really, but let's just do if. So we have this if statement. So the else statement is important because this is when it's still moving. And then let's just say if jump num is greater than 0, we want sprite.freeze equal to true, else still equal to false. And then that way he's kind of in the air, and then he touches down on the ground and he can move again. I don't know, that's how I picture a blob would, you know, move around, but if that's not how you picture it, you can change it. If you're using a blob, you probably aren't using a blob. Okay, so I think that's all I'm going to cover in this lesson. If you like my videos, make sure you like and subscribe before you leave the page, and I'll see you guys next time.